Hi everyone, welcome back to craft.com. I'm Nilton Santos, an electronic trading Java developer based in New York City. Today I'm continuing the exciting series on how to build simple Java apps using AI coding tools. In this video I'll be using the Codium IntelliJ IDEA plugin coding assistant to build the same restaurant reservation system in Java. So if you have been following along, you know that I've previously built this exact same application using the ChatGPT canvas, and before that I used the GitHub Copilot AI assistant. So if you miss those two videos, then please make sure to check them out. I'll put a link in the description below. So let's get started. So I'm going to create a brand new IntelliJ IDEA project. Let's call it Restaurant Reservation System with Codium, and we're going to be using the free version of Codium. And let's just put here craft of programming. It's good. All right, let's create a project. Let's select quick start as the archetype. Okay, we have a successful build. Let me just increase the zoom for you guys. Let's close this up. All right, so let's start by installing the plugin. So let's go to settings. In settings, let's go to plugins. Here you have two tabs. Make sure you click on the marketplace and here type Codium. So there are two plugins. Make sure you select this AI autocomplete. This plugin is for enterprise users. So select this, click install and restart the IDE. Right, after restarting the IDE, you should see a pop-up saying please log in to Codium to use the plugin. So click login. So if everything goes well, you should see a window says successful login into Codium. Now this happened here because I already have an account. If you do this the first time, you will be prompted to create an account and then you will be good to go. So first create an account and then you'll be able to log into Codium. So let's just close this. Cool. Now you see this message saying successful logged into Codium. So the plugin is installed and we have logged into the Codium account. So if all goes well, come here to tools and you should see a menu say Codium. This one is just to test network connection. Let's not bother with that. So let's open the Codium chat and take a look at it. All right, so this is the Codium chat. There is a few things that we can take a look at. So obviously you can click on this button to start a new conversation. There is here the, a cogwheel. Let's click there. And you see here that we're using the free plan. So one nice thing about Codium is that it, as you see, has all support for these models, GPT-4, Claude, Sonnet from Anthropic, and the Llama. Now on the free plan, which is what I'm using, you cannot actually choose any of these models. You use what they call a basic model, and that's what you get. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do a couple more tutorials using Codium with the pro version, and I'm going to be using one using GPT-4 and the other one Claude Sonnet to compare, build the exact same restaurant reservation system, because I'm curious to see what are the differences between the free version and the paid version, which they call pro. Anyway, there's a few settings here. You can change the theme, the font size, the autocomplete. Apparently there is a slow and fast, but I think on the free version you cannot change anything. So now let's close this window. And here, as you see, if you click on the base model, like I said, you have these models available only on the paid version, which is the pro. On the base model, on the free version, you have this base model, you cannot choose. If you click edit here, so you can add chat instructions, for example, to customize the prompts. Basic things you can do is, for example, use camel case for test methods, and you can be much more creative. All right, so before we start coding here, let me give you an overview of the system that we are building. So I basically want to play with a simple application like a restaurant reservation system. Very simple. It's not going to have a persistence like with a database. It's not going to have a user interface, something very simple. And it's your standard restaurant reservation system that has a very simple API here to add a reservation, to modify it, and to cancel it. And a reservation is has a unique ID, has a reference to a unique restaurant ID here. So restaurant ID equals this ID here on the restaurant object. It has a name, your phone number, the party, the number of people in the reservation, the date, and the time. Okay, so that's the reservation. That is the object that is created by add reservation. You can obviously modify it. Say you want to change the party or the date or the time. You can remove the reservation. And basically, you can use a reservations object that's going to keep some kind of list organized by date. This is actually a map. And then you have a restaurant manager, which manages restaurants, right? Adds, removes, and modifies restaurants, right? Okay, now that you know the system that we are building, let's create our restaurant manager interface. All right, cool. We have our interface here. Okay, so if you recall, this is let's import all this stuff. Let's import this. Okay, we have all stuff. So as you see, we're working with the same restaurant manager interface that we've been working for the past 2 projects with ChatGPT, Canvas, and GitHub Copilot. So we have the add restaurant. So it's a very simple API. We have the add restaurant method, which takes a restaurant name, the address, the capacity, number of seats on the restaurant, the time the restaurant opens, the time the restaurant closes, for example, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and the dates when the restaurant closed. This could be the holidays or maybe, I don't know, a Sunday or whatever. And then this method returns a unique restaurant ID, which we can then use here to remove the restaurant, or we can use here to modify the restaurant, okay? And modify restaurant will be just simply implemented in terms of removing and adding. So one thing that you can see, because we're using Codium, is we have these suggestions right here at the top, right? We can refactor, we can explain, and we can use a doc string as well, which is a nice thing. Anyway, let's implement this interface following the exact same constraints that we use on the GitHub Copilot video and on the ChatGPT Canvas. So for that, let's open the Codium chat. And here, let me give the prompt. So what I'm going to say is implement this interface. So you see it says here is restaurant manager current. So implement the interface following these constraints. So constraint number 1, all the input parameters must be non-null and semantically validated. For example, the capacity parameter must be a positive number and the closure list must refer to dates in the future. Okay. Second constraint, the restaurant must be open for at least 8 hours and the close time must be strictly after open. Okay. Third constraint, validation failures must generate a runtime exception with a detailed error message. Constraint number 4, the modified restaurant method can be implemented simply by removing and adding a new restaurant. Okay, so let me just see something here that you implement. So it's generating the code for us. So let's see what it came up with. All right, so we have here the restaurant implements a restaurant service. Okay, interesting. So it renamed it's a bit weird that it renamed. So what is restaurant service? Okay, that's a little bit bizarre. Okay, that's a bit strange because it's actually implementing an interface that I didn't tell it to implement. So that's weird because it's using the restaurant manager here as the context. So I'm not happy with that. Let's see, make sure you're implementing the restaurant manager interface. Let's see. Right, second attempt is better. So now it's implementing the restaurant manager interface. So that was really bizarre because he's using the context restaurant manager, and it's a bit strange that it tried to implement a completely different interface that doesn't even exist. Anyway, so let's see. We have now it's implementing my interface as per my request. Add restaurant is validated inputs, and then it's making sure that we are not adding another restaurant with the same name, and then it's creating the object and adding it to the map. Okay, so again, there is a problem here that, all right, this thing again is not doing what it's supposed to do. So this is really weird. Restaurant manager interface returns a string. So what is this thing here? This is not my interface. This is not implementing my interface. This is really bizarre. Wow, that's very disappointing. Okay, second try. You are not implementing my interface. I don't really understand what's going on here. I don't get it. What the heck? You don't implement my interface. For example, the add restaurant method returns a string. You've implemented a method that returns void. This is the third time I'm asking you to generate it. Okay, so it's right here, restaurant manager. All right, so let's see. This is the third attempt to ask this tool to generate a restaurant manager. So let's see. First, let's take a look at the APIs because this thing got it wrong. So add restaurant, okay, modify restaurant and remove restaurant. Okay, so it's still returning the name of the restaurant. I guess I didn't tell it. Let's look at the prompt. Yeah, I didn't tell it that the add restaurant, this string is the unique ID. But then let's see what it did here. Validate, okay. So again, it's not doing what I told it to do. I specifically said on the prompt, if you look here, I specifically told on point 4, the modified restaurant can be implemented simply by removing add a new restaurant, and it still went here and did its own thing. This is pretty much copying the add restaurant code. So there's a code smell here. So how do I clear all this stuff? Okay. All right, still not good, still not good. So please make this. All right, tell you what, let's accept this and then I'll try to make corrections in the code. So now how do I insert? All right, let's see, insert, what happens? Of course. All right, so let's copy this code and let's go here to, all right, so I've pasted this code here. All right, so let's see what's going on here. All right, so bizarrely, as you can see here, it actually did not create a restaurant class for me, right? So let's create a class and let's go back to the, what the heck is this? And let's import the map. Okay. All right, so this is better. Okay, so I'm just very disappointed with this tool. It's so much worse than a GitHub Copilot and ChatGPT with Canvas. It really gets in your way, right? These tools need to help you, right? And I feel that it's really getting in my way. It's not really helping. I feel that it's making my life harder. I mean, I need to ask it. I had to ask him 3 times to get this thing relatively okay to create this, because first he started to implement the wrong interface. And then after I told him to implement this interface that I wanted, he then did not got the signature of the methods correctly. And then the modified restaurant was just a wrong implementation. And even now, as you see, like, it's still wrong. This is not what I told it to implement. I just told it modified restaurant to just call remove restaurant and add restaurant. Now I have this code dupe here to deal with. So I'm really not satisfied with that. So basically what I want to do is refactor. What is this? Verbosely comment, make sure. Okay, so that's not quite. Let's see if I can tell it to type or the return value of this. Actually, tell you what, let's try to do it here on this guy. Let's see if I can tell, maybe here, Codium explain. I don't know if I create some, okay. Okay, let's try here. Okay, let's try refactor. This method should return a unique restaurant ID as opposed to the restaurant name. All right, so what the heck does this thing do? ID. Okay. All right, so it's a bit better. So it's creating this bizarre ID here, which is prefixed by this thing. So let's see if I can ask it to do a better job here. Let's see. The ID must be a, fine, okay. Use UUI ID. Let's see. Okay, let's accept. All right, now it's using this, but the thing is, it's trying to create a restaurant here, but there is no class. It didn't create a class. So let's tell it to create a constructor. Okay. All right, let's go back up here. Okay, can I, so modify restaurant, let's see what it did. It's still using the same thing. So again, I'm gonna have to come here and do the exact same thing. Use UUID. Let's see if you can do that. Let's accept the option. So restaurant, old restaurant, remove. Okay, actually let's tell it to implement this by simply removing and adding a new restaurant. Okay, so that's what I told it to do in the beginning. All right, but again, like, what is this stuff here? Let's tell it to clean up, clean up. What the hell did it do? Add, remove, and what is the method? Okay, now it deleted my modify restaurant. Oh my god. All right, so I think I'm very disappointed with this tool. I think I'm just gonna end this video now. This is just very subpar experience, worse than GitHub Copilot chat with IntelliJ. This is it's just very frustrating to use this. The whole point for me of using an AI coding assistant tool is to make me more productive, more efficient in what I'm doing. And I just feel that this free version of this tool is very subpar. It's getting on the way. It's making me less productive as opposed to more productive. So I'm going to be making another video giving this tool a second chance by using the pro version. Hopefully it's better, because the free version is not ready for prime time. It's just not good enough. All right, I'll end the video here. I'm Nilton from craftofprogramming.com. If you found this video useful, please make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching.